Lesson 9-1, Understand Likelihood and Probability. Your statement today says, I can describe the likelihood that an event will occur. Solve and discuss it. For a game show, Jared has to choose one of 8 boxes to win a prize. One of the boxes has a big prize, 3 boxes have a medium prize, 3 boxes have smaller prizes, and 1 box is empty. How confident should Jared be that whatever box he chooses, he will win a prize? Support your response with a mathematical argument. In this problem, we need to look at how many boxes have prizes in them altogether, because the question says, how confident should Jared be that whatever box he chooses, he will win a prize? It does not say, how confident should Jared be that he wins the big prize? So, what do you think? Is Jared confident that he should get a prize? Yes, in this instance, Jared should be confident. He has 8 boxes from which to choose, and 7 of them have prizes in them. There's only 1 box that is empty. So Jared should be confident that whatever box he chooses, he will win a prize. Now write this information as a ratio comparing the number of opportunities Jared has to win a prize divided by the number of opportunities he has altogether. We can write this as a probability in the form of a fraction, a decimal, or a percent. The fraction is always given in the form where the numerator stands for the total number of outcomes you want to have happen, divided by the total number of outcomes that are possible. So in this case, there are 7 prizes, or 7 things that Jared could choose from that he wants to happen, but there are 8 total boxes from which he can choose. Writing this fraction as a decimal is as easy as dividing 7 by 8. And writing this decimal as a percent is as easy as multiplying it by 100. So Jared has an 87 5/10% chance of choosing a box with a prize in it. Now take a look at example 1. In this example, we're going to use probability to describe chance. Elisa and Sherry spin the pointer to the right and record the color that it lands on. The table shows their results after 100 spins. How can Elisa and Sherry explain their results? The results are also called outcomes. When Elisa and Sherry spin the pointer, 4 different outcomes can happen. The pointer could land on red, yellow, green, or blue. Each of those sections is the same size, and there is 1 section of each color, which means each of those 4 outcomes is equally likely to show up when you spin that spinner. Each time they spin that spinner, or pointer, the likelihood or probability of the pointer landing on red, yellow, green, or blue is the same. Each of those equal side sections is shaded 1 of 4 colors, so the probability of the pointer landing on any given color is 1 out of 4. And since 1 out of 4 equals 25%, the probability can also be written in that percentage form. Now what we might expect to happen is that because there are 4 colors, and they spin the spinner 100 times, we may expect that each of those 4 colors will show up about 25 times out of 100 spins. Look back at the frequency table that Elisa and Sherry made. Did each color show up exactly 25 times? Not quite, but it's close. Red shows up 23 times, yellow 24 times, green 27 times, and blue 26 times. They should show up about 25 times each, but each of those outcomes is close to that expected probability. Now look at the try it question and the spinner that goes with that. How is this spinner different from the spinner in example 1? Well, first of all, there are more sections. If you count the number of sections on that spinner, there are now 8 sections instead of 4. But if you look carefully and count the colors, you have 2 sections of each of those 4 colors. In other words, you still have the probability of 2 out of 8 for any of those colors to show up on that spinner. And because 2 out of 8 is the same as the fraction 1 out of 4, you still have a 25% chance that any of those 4 colors will show up. The convince me question, though, is slightly different. It asks us, how would the probability of the pointer landing on a given color change if the spinner had 6 equal sections with each section a different color? Well, if we had 6 sections and each section had a separate color, then the probability of spinning any color on that spinner would be 1 out of 6. Well, if you change that over into a decimal, what you'll find is that that decimal isn't so nice. In fact, that decimal is a repeating decimal, which means you have to give an approximation for the percentage. And in that case, it's about 17% chance that you will land on any one of those colors. Now take a couple of minutes, pause the video, and read through examples 2 and 3 and the try it questions that go with them. I'll be back in just a minute with the answers to the try it so you can check yourself. Now take a couple of minutes to check your answers for the try-its that went with examples 2 and 3. How did you do? Are you ready to move on to the other questions? Now I want you to pay special attention to the key concept. Because probability is always written in the form of a fraction or a ratio, its value will always be somewhere between 0 and 1. This value describes the likelihood that an event will occur. When you look at the number line given in the key concept, you'll notice that events that are impossible, or outcomes that can never happen, are listed down at 0. For example, if you have a number cube and it's numbered 1 through 6, your probability of rolling a 7 is 0 out of 6. It can't happen, which is a 0% probability. On the other hand, if you roll a number cube and you ask yourself, what is the chance that I'm going to get a number less than 7? Well, they're all less than 7. So you have a 6 out of 6, or 1, probability of getting that. We say that that event would be certain to happen. It's 100% likely that you will get a number less than 7 on that number cube. In the middle of that number line is the fraction 1/2. 1/2 describes the probability when only 2 events are possible, or the events that happen are equally likely to occur. In that case, a fraction like 1/2, or another fraction that would simplify to 1/2, describes a probability that is equally likely to happen. That probability would be 50%. Then you see between the impossible and the certain, you have 2 additional words to describe probability. The probability is described as unlikely when the event is only going to happen as a value somewhere between 0 and 1/2. An event is likely to happen if that probability can be written as a ratio that is greater than 1/2 but less than 1/2. Now I want you to try questions 4 through 7 on this page. You're going to use those cards that are pictured above question 4 to help you answer them. Come back in a few minutes and check your answer to see how you did. Check your work on 4 through 7. If you have questions, please raise your hand and ask. At this point, you're ready to move on. If you don't have any questions, go ahead and log out of your video and go to your Math Excel. You'll find that in your Pearson's account. Complete your Math Excel for lesson 9-1, and then you're done for the day.